And welcome to SharePoint Power Hour. This is a weekly show we do every Wednesday at 11 Central. I'm Laura Rogers, and this is my team of SharePoint consultants from Rackspace Hosting. Power Hour is all about things that you can do in SharePoint and SharePoint Online, mostly non-programming, no programming involved, nothing too technical involved. A lot of this is sort of geared towards business users and power users. This is our 106th episode, and they're all on our YouTube channel, SharePoint RAX. You can go look at any of the previous ones. We have discussions about lots of things, just demos about lots of things in SharePoint, and most of it's applicable across SharePoint and Office 365, and we point that out as we go. Today's demo is going to be the new Microsoft PowerApps that just came out. We've been trying it out, and we're going to be just kind of doing a pretty informal walkthrough of it. I actually just posted a blog post that I wrote, wonderlaura.com, about just my experience, just kind of walking you through and getting familiar with where some of the things are in there. Before we get started, we'll go ahead and introduce the team. Again, I'm Laura Rogers, Microsoft MVP. I've been doing SharePoint for, I don't know, 12 years or something crazy like that. And I started out as a server admin, and I moved more towards helping end users and building business solutions in SharePoint instead of all that admin stuff that I don't enjoy, like backups and logging and that junk. So we'll see. We'll go through the team. Corey, then Joelle, Ryan, Tanya, and Tavis. And also, after you introduce yourself, let me know if you have been trying out PowerApps and you have anything to demo or that you want to show.
Alrighty. Hello, I'm Corey. I also a SharePoint developer at Rackspace, and for some reason my lower third was off. There we go. That's my name. Been with Rackspace for, I don't know, forever now, and almost, 3 months. So, do a lot of the out-of-the-box stuff, workflows. I'm still an InfoPath guy. Although now we're demoing PowerApps, so maybe I'll be a convert. We'll see. Yeah, that's basically me.
Ryan.
Me.
Wait, see on my screen, Joelle just popped in between Corey and Ryan, so Joelle's next.
Well, hello. This is my first time back on Power Hour in probably about 6 months, so it's good to see everybody. So I am Joelle Farley. I am a SharePoint engineer at Rackspace, and I specialize in information architecture, SharePoint search, forms, workflows, and all that good stuff as well. And I have not had, Laura has been kind enough to do a few demos for us of PowerApps, but I have not had a chance to dig in yet. I've been working with a client that's taken up a good bit of my time, so I haven't been able to yet, but I'm looking forward to the demo.
It's good to have you back, Joelle.
Hi everybody, I'm Ryan Keller. I am the branding guy on the team here at Rackspace. So that means that I brand SharePoint and make it look pretty, make it look different, make it look like what our customers want. Been doing SharePoint for like 8 years now, I think. About 6 of those as a consultant, and maybe like 4, well, probably more like 4.5 now as branding almost exclusively. I also have not had a chance to try out PowerApps. This is the call where Laura fires us all at the end because we haven't done our jobs. But like Joelle, I've also been involved in a fairly large project, so haven't had a chance to try those out, but looking forward to the demo today.
Hi, I'm Tanya, and I'm based at our headquarters at Castle in San Antonio, Texas. I'm the SharePoint program manager, so I run all of our internal environments at Rackspace. So I also have not had a chance to play around with the Power Apps because we've got a ongoing long-term migration project internally where we're bringing everybody onto one consistent platform. So I've been spending a lot of time trying not to scare away our international rackers from SharePoint and all the awesome things that it can do. But personally, I loaded up the first little bit on my personal Office 365, so can't wait to complete our Power Hours so I can go play with them.
Hello everyone, my name is Tavis Level and I am the Business Intelligence Developer on the Business Solutions team. I've been doing business intelligence since around 2005 or so through multiple versions of SQL Server and SharePoint. And I have also not been playing with PowerApps, so I hope Laura has a lot of demos to do today.
You know it. Oh, I know you played with it. Yeah, I know you've done it, just not recently. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I did the very first version that came out and played around with that quite a bit, but I haven't seen the newer version. And you had said that it changed quite a bit.
Yeah, they've improved it dramatically. So. All right, so the way Power Hour works is we have a Q&A, and if you're in the Google Hangout, if you're in YouTube, you can click the little yellow link to go to the Google Hangout. And in the Google Hangout, there's a little icon of some squares at the top right that lets you flip between the different little apps and lets you flip between the Showcase app and the Q&A app. And so in the Q&A, you can go tell us hello, go ask questions. This is live. That's why we do it live, so that people can ask questions as we go, get a little commentary going. Josh already says hi. He says, we just upgraded from business to E3 Office 365 subscription. You totally helped me get there. Awesome, Josh. That's good to hear. All right, so the thing that I'm demoing today is PowerApps, and PowerApps is only on Office 365. You actually authenticate to your Office 365 account to be able to use it. PowerApps is a designer and a filler in one product. So you know how InfoPath, I'm going to compare it to InfoPath several times. I can't help it. InfoPath had a separate designer and filler so that you didn't have to have everybody, you weren't using the same really app to be able to design your apps and fill out forms. Well, this is it's one application you install on your computer that you can use to design apps and use to fill them out or interact with them. And there's also an iPad app that anybody can go install it. It's out there. It's in the App Store now. I had to do a little travel request app today, and just real quick, and there it is. I can go click the little plus button, and it's kind of slow. My iPad's kind of old and slow, but yeah. So there's I'm filling one out. So this is an app that I created in just a few minutes earlier today as I was writing my blog post. But I'm going to go ahead and show you, kind of just walk through it at a fairly high level and talk about just how to get around in there and some of the things you can do. And it's basically, the idea is that it's not just a SharePoint thing. This is not SharePoint specific. It is PowerApps lets you create apps that interact with data wherever your data is. There are probably 100 different, I don't know how many exactly, different types of data sources that you can authenticate to and use. So one of the things you do when you go in there is you add data connections. And as you add data connections, you have to authenticate to those sources like Salesforce and OneDrive and Google Drive and all these different places, Twitter. So what you're going to be able to do is create apps that interact between, you can just use one, you can just maybe use a SharePoint list and that's all you have, but you can have apps and even logic flows that interact between multiple sources like that. And you can create logic that lets you automatically do things according to certain conditions, sort of like the idea of SharePoint workflows, except it's integrating all these different types of connections together. So I'll go ahead and share my screen. And again, so one of the really cool things about it, though, is the types of controls in there are all very modern, very, kind of what end users are used to nowadays with their phone apps. They've got things that interact with your camera, interact with images on your phone, sliders and cool little buttons, and all kinds of ways that you can make it a very modern app and have your end users use it on their devices. So it's not a browser-based, at least not yet. I'm not sure if it's going to be, but it's not a browser-based form filler. It is an application that people who are interacting with the form or whatever kind of app you create are doing it in the app itself. So they do have to have it installed. They do have to go through installing it. But yeah, let's go ahead. I'm not going to spend too much time on the high-level fluffy stuff. I want to get right into how we can use it, specifically how we can use it to do things that I commonly do with SharePoint. Dean's asking about the plans. Dean, there, when you go to PowerApps.com, there's actually a link at the top that says plans, and that's got the information about what you're asking. So some of it's just like, a lot of it's based on how many different data connections you're going to be using. So some of the plans, it looks like, are going to be for the more limited plans, you're only going to be able to do like up to 2 data connections. But the more data connections, and I guess the more sort of complex data connections and maybe on-premises data connections, those are going to be this enterprise plan that they have listed in here. But anything that we're talking about today could very well change. This is a preview product. Things in the product could change after today. Things in the plans could change. So if you're watching this, you know, a year from now after I do this recording, it could be all different. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and put the link to PowerApps in the little showcase thing real quick. And it's PowerApps.com. And you do need to have an Office 365 account to be able to get this. If you don't have one and you just want to try it out, I recommend maybe getting a trial account just so you can, and I think it has to at least, I'm not even sure if it has to be an E3 account to try this out. I'm not positive. When you go to PowerApps.com and fill out the little form saying, you know, that you want to request to be part of it, it'll let you know. All right. So let me go ahead and get started sharing my screen. And let's see, move this over here. And not sure if I want to change my resolution for this one, because when I start the app, it has such a big resolution anyway. So let's just see. I'm going to share my whole screen. And I think I went ahead and hid all the faces at the bottom. So I think people watching do not see the faces anymore, because some of you have given us feedback that is just not necessary. All right. Here is, I'm in Office 365. I requested, I got in, I'm in PowerApps. I've been trying it out through several iterations and giving you know, feedback and just talking about it in several meetings and things like that. So you'll notice that once you have it, you're going to have it here in listed with all your other apps in Office 365. And the first thing that you're going to be asked to do is you want to make an app, or do you want to make a logic flow? I'm not sure if we're going to have time in this 1 hour to get to the logic flows. I'm going to try and set some time, at least maybe 15 minutes or so towards the end, and make sure to at least show you guys what that looks like. It's pretty cool. It's sort of similar to that website, IFTTT, if this then that. It looks a little bit similar. It has all the different services you can integrate as part of your logic, but there's, you know, allows you to do more complexity than that site does. All right, so when you click to make an app, and you click started and you want to make an app, what it's going to do is it's going to start off by giving you all these different examples. So notice that by default it says phone up here, and you can switch to tablet. So when you switch back and forth between phone and tablet, you've got you know, some different little options that you can pick from. And your logic flows, there are also even some pre-built logic flows that you can pick from, just to give you at least some ideas or somewhere to start from. All right, so I'm going to go to apps, and I'll go ahead and do, let's see, for this one, I think maybe I'll do a tablet app. So you can pick one of their existing ones. I'm not going to do that for this demo, but I just wanted to kind of show you what it looks like. Once you pick one, then, excuse me, then for these little demo apps, what it's going to do, so it's opening up PowerApps on my computer, and it started opening up an app, you saw that for a second, that I had already been working on. I already had PowerApps running. But then immediately brings me to this new screen. So even once you pick one and you click choose, you get brought to, if you haven't installed PowerApps yet, to install it on your computer. And if it's already installed, it brings you to this same screen. Basically, it's the new screen, except it's in the app instead of in the browser. Of course, if you already have PowerApps, you don't need to go to the web page to do this stuff. Except the logic flows are actually on the web. All right, so I can pick one of these apps, and notice that when I select an app from one of these templates, that it lets me pick what my data source is, but for these little sample apps, it's fairly limited. It's only Dropbox, Google Drive, and OneDrive, and what it's going to do is it's not going to be like a SharePoint list or anything. It's going to be like like an application file every time something gets submitted. So that's just kind of, at least when you create these, even if that's not the data that you would want to connect with, ultimately, go and create some of these just so you can go in there and get some ideas and see how they did things, and go click around and go see some of the controls that exist in there and say, oh, how did they do that? And go, kind of mimic, if you want to mimic some of it in your own app, you can go dig through these and figure out how they did it to help, just to help the learning process. That's kind of what I've been doing. All right, so I'm gonna do new, and I'm gonna start, instead of starting from a template, I'm gonna do a phone app, and I'm gonna get started from my data. So you notice if you go to tablet, the start from your data doesn't exist yet. So I'm gonna do a phone app, and I'm gonna get started from my own data. Now I'm gonna go walk through doing one of these, and then I can maybe show you one that I already did. I might flip back and forth, but I'll do one that I've done several based on this just really simple SharePoint list that I have, and I'll go ahead. See, it tells me that it opened it up in PowerApps. The SharePoint list that I'm going to connect to is just called travel requests, and it's pretty simple. It's just, I created this basically for doing demos. So and I can still have my SharePoint workflows that are running on my SharePoint list behind the scenes when things get submitted. I don't have to use the logic flow, but I can if I want to, especially if I want to connect to other data sources. So basically I'm going to interact with this SharePoint list. And I don't have that many lists on this site, but I've got like travel requests, and I've also got one called trip types that it's just 3 trip types that I do a lookup to. So travel request is going to be the main one, so it's my site/travel. So that's where I'm going to go. I'm going to go back to PowerApps. All right, start from my data, and then I've already gone through and created a bunch of connections. So like, for example, if I'm on the new screen here and I go to connections, I can see my connections. I've already created connections all the way to, oh, is it blurry? Oh, okay. Let me see, Dean. I'll go ahead and change my resolution. I just thought since everything's so big in PowerApps that it might not be a good idea to do that, but I'll go ahead and do that. Screen 2, I'll go down to 1280 by 720. It's going to be huge. All right, let's see. Keep changes, and let's try this again. PowerApps. Does PowerApps even like that resolution? Oh, it might not. It's very confused right now. Yeah, PowerApps doesn't like that resolution. Sorry about that. It's like, no, I'm not going to stoop to that level. I'm just not going to do it. I'll just try. Maybe I'll try another one. Thanks for the feedback. I'm just not sure if that's going to work out. Just that one. I'll try that one. Sorry for the delay. See if you like. See, I want to try to drag PowerApps over there. There we go. So it's a little bit better. Thanks for the feedback, Dean. All right. So here are all my connections I've created. I authenticated to each one of these to be able to create those connections. So you just pick what kind of connection you want to add, and then it just says connect, and then it's basically you're going to authenticate, and that app is going to say yes, you have permission. Just just like anything, like connecting your Twitter account to anything else, it's just going to say PowerApps has your permission to use it. So those are all the connections I've created. Every time you use PowerApps, they're all just available now. You're not going to use every single one of these necessarily in every app, but they're there. So I'll go back to new, go start from my data, my connections. I'll go to SharePoint Online. And here are my sites. So I can click to add a new site and just put the URL of any other site, but I'll go ahead and pick my travel site and click connect. And on this screen, I can only pick one list, but I can go back into the app later and add other list. Let me just wait a minute. I don't actually, just FYI, PowerApps doesn't exist for the Windows phone yet, but it does exist for iOS and Android, and I think Windows Phone they're working on. So a lot of this stuff they're working on right now, it's just not available. So here's my app, and what I'm going to do now is the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to run it. I'm just going to run it as if I'm an end user and I'm filling out a travel request. So first let me just save it real quick. So I'll do File, Save, and when I save it, do I want to save it to the PowerApps cloud or to my computer? I'm just going to save it to the cloud. So I'm going to do travel. Oops. Also, you have to have no spaces. December 2 there. Dean says, how long did it take you to get enabled? I've had it for a couple months, so I don't remember. I'm not sure. All right, travel request 2, save. So I'm just saving it. So I'll have, just in case, and saving it to the cloud. And when the ones that you save to your hard drive will actually have a different icon next to them. It'll have a little arrow showing when you're looking at all of your list of apps. You can see that I've been playing around and trying different ones. And it's taking a second. Okay, so now I saved it. So now I'm back. So all I have to do to run this app is just click this little play button. Or if I go to File, Open, and this is actually a mistake I've made a couple of times, I've clicked the name of the app instead of clicking the Edit button, and clicking the name of it when you're opening it will actually open it as you're filling it out like an end user instead of in the design mode. All right, so here's what it looks like. The first screen that it's set to go to is just the list of all the travel requests. I'm definitely going to want to use different fields in this list, right? Yeah, Jack, you're right. I'm definitely going to want to use different fields in this list. So I'm going to be switching those around, but let's just see what it looks like just out of the box. So I'll go ahead and click the little plus button to fill a new one out. So where am I going? I'll just say and I'm noticing things as I go that I would definitely want to tweak initially. So like I would want this to maybe be a date picker, and I can do things like that. I'd want this to be a drop-down box. Conference, and then I usually hide the status field. Andy says, hey Andy, does the initial list selected for the data source matter or no? No, well, you can change it and add more later, and I'll show you. I'll do that in a minute. Description, testing, oops. And then I can give a cost. And then also I'm going to notice that I had fields that maybe I had in here that I was using for other stuff that it's not something I wanted the end users interacting with. I can just go delete those later. I'll go ahead and click the checkbox, and that's the submit box. That's just the out of the box, submit button. And I'm saying I'm going to New Orleans on 12/2 to 12/3. See, it looks kind of ugly. I'd want that to be a date right there. And then when I click the back button, I'm back to my list of stuff. And then I'm going to have, it does show up pretty quickly. It's just not, it might, since I'm previewing it might not have submitted it since I just like tested it. But I have seen it show up in there immediately. All right, so I'm going to go out of the preview here, and now I'm back to designing it. All right, so let's look around in here and kind of see what's what. You have your quick tools, which is showing by default. I can immediately go change the layout like I'm on this screen. And screens are kind of like views in InfoPath. So I have a browse screen, which is the one that shows my list of items. I have my detail screen that's just a view of the item, and then this is it looks like the same screen is used for new items and for editing items. So that's just the way it's set up by default. I can create more screens. I can click new screen. I can duplicate screens. I can move them up and down or whatever I want to do. So those are just the screens I get out of the box. But on each screen, I'm going to have different ways that I can go in here and change the way they're viewed in here. Like I just changed it to this other little layout here, and like this one it's got a layout where the labels on top of the text box or the labels next to the text box. So little stuff like that. So you've got layouts, and then you've got your, I'll do the content in a minute, and then you've got your theme, which is really fun. You can go in there and quickly change the colors to one of these little cute themes. I like this turquoise one, but yeah. So there's my turquoise theme, and so once I do that, the other thing in here is content. So I'll notice that I have the control, the name of the control, and then the value that's in it. So this is where I can control what shows in which ones of these fields. So like this where it says this is a description, well, that's the description field. I don't need the description field here. So that's looks like that's subtitle 2. So maybe I want, instead of the heading being, let's see, heading 2 is right now it's created, and that's the little gray one right here. The one that says stuff is the description. I'll make that be the title. Also notice that these are the system names for all of your fields in SharePoint, all of your columns. So this is just something to kind of get familiar with. If you created your columns with spaces in them, that's what these little XOO20 things are. And like this field was originally called title when I created my travel request list, and I renamed it to call it destination, while it still says, all these say, you know, the system names in here. If you ever want to know what those are in your SharePoint list, you can go to the list settings, and when you just hover over or click on one of your column names, it'll say field equals. It'll be in the hyperlink of any of your columns, and that's how you can figure out what. I'll show you real quick. I can go to my list, and I can go, this is just basic like SharePoint 101 here. See, I can go hover over something, and in my URL that it shows at the bottom in my status, it says field equals. And like if I go click on one, destination, see at the end it says field equals title. So that's how I know. All right, back to my travel request. So then I can kind of rearrange these. Like I don't really want to see the approval step here. Maybe I want to see what type of trip it is, like that. And then this date here is kind of ugly. Maybe I don't want to see the created date. I want to see, I don't know, the cost or something. And I can reformat that to make it look like a number. So that's kind of just going in there and tweaking a couple of things in my list of items. Some other things getting around in here. So that was in the layout of the list of things, and that was in my content over here. All right, so I can also go, since y'all were asking about adding other data sources, just back to this this concept of options. So instead of going to Quick Tools, I go to Options. I can insert my data here, and this is where I can go to my SharePoint. Again, I can add other stuff. I can stick my Twitter feed here or something crazy like that. I haven't tried that yet. And then I can go pick the same site that I'm in, or I can pick a different SharePoint site. I can have all mixed up in here. I can have different, as long as the end user is able to authenticate to whatever that source is, then they'll be able to use this app. If they don't have permission to that SharePoint site, or they don't have permission to, you know, your OneDrive or whatever you're using in here, they're going to get an error. So I'll go to trip types, and I can check multiple ones, Andy, and add them in there. So that's how I can add them to have my data. All right. Just a little bit more. So that was the quick tools, and the options are kind of some simple ways of getting around in here. I'm going to go over, it looks a little bit different for those same ones for like the edit screen and the detail screen. So I'll go back to the quick tools and look at my content. See, it's a little different. I've got these little icons next to each one, so I can actually change like the field types in here, like trip end and trip start. Maybe I want those to be dates. So I can go in here and click the little icon of the little ABC, and look at all this cool stuff I can change it to. I can just, this is sort of like the change control button in InfoPath to be able to change it to something else like edit date time. I'm not going to do that yet. I'm not going to mess with it too much because I tend to start breaking things. All right, and we're going to go more, or kind of getting around in here. So I told you that you can go, and y'all interrupt me if y'all have a question or you want to show something that you created or anything like that. You can create new screens, edit screens. You have all these other tabs. Look at the insert button. You have all kinds of cool stuff that you can insert. So by default, it's just got a bunch of text boxes. There's so many really neat controls in here. And they've been improving and changing this just every day. You have different types of text boxes. Oh, Somar says it's really hard to build an app which talks to SharePoint. Okay, well now you can. All right, so you have different types of text input, HTML labels and stuff like that, but look at all these controls. Yes?
Can we look at the charts?
Oh yeah, let's do that. Yeah, I was gonna go just click through all these. Ooh, you have sliders. Ooh, that's fun. Ratings, timers, importing and exporting, toggling back and forth. Just so much fun. I haven't even begun to start playing with some of these yet. A gallery is like a gallery of images or cards or pictures. A gallery, media, images, camera, video, audio, microphone. All this is like, think about, again, your tablets and your phones and being able to interact with that hardware and get, the audio and video and things with your camera. Charts. You have columns, line charts, and pie charts. And I noticed, Tavis, that in the little list of the pre-created apps that you could create, it had a couple. It had like the opportunity one had a chart. So you can go in there and create one of those and just kind of see how they did it and see how they did the controls and be able to do that in yours. They're also, when you go to PowerApps.com, just as you're kind of learning your way through this, they do have a reference in here. So like it starts, starts from here, but you have the do more, get fancy, show off, reference. So I go straight to the reference and look at the formula stuff. Or you get fancy, it shows how to do a lot of just kind of basic stuff in here. So this is their, I'm sure they're going to add on to this over the years, but this is their help page where it's got all these different tutorials and reference information. Somar says it's really hard to build an app which talks to SharePoint, requests too many authentication, which would be too much for app talking to SharePoint. I used to build a proxy which handled all the requests and sent it to the app. Okay, well, I'm glad that it seems like they simplified this. So I didn't know that. So from a developer perspective, it sounds like they've simplified this a good bit so that they don't have to go through so much complexity. So that's good to know. All right, so charts and then shapes. And so you can use these cool little shapes, obviously, to create little buttons in there. And you would just stick a shape on here, and then you use this little function button to say what it's going to do. So some of this stuff is still a little developer-y in a way, but I think that they're still working hard to improve this and to make it so that business users can build apps. As you're trying out PowerApps, there's a little smiley face at the top right to send feedback. Please use that. Please let them know, and again, don't send some kind of message that says like it's awesome or it sucks, or just tell them why, or tell them what you like about it and don't like about it, and give them some specific information, because these are people just like me and you that are trying to build an awesome product, and they would like to have some constructive feedback that's going to be helpful. So that's where you can do that. Dean says, what language is used to create the function? I don't know. I'm not a developer. We'll look at it. I have no idea. So let's go. So we're talking about the functions now. So let me finish going through just some of these menus, and then we'll go into some of that more advanced stuff and take a peek at that. So the design, you've got the theme, which again, it's another way to get to it. We were also in the theme when we went to the quick tools. I'm not sure. Maybe the design tab. No, it doesn't look any different depending on where you are. It doesn't look like. Content. So this is going to be a quick link back to your data sources, just the list of all of your sources. I can manage my media. So my media is going to be images and videos that I want to use in my app. So like, if I want to have some obnoxious song playing as soon as people start the app, like people do on those old-timey web pages from the 90s, like ding, 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 ding. You just put one of those. But no, this is where you're going to go upload your files. So if you want to have your company, your company logo in there and stuff like that, that's where you're going to put your media. I'm not sure what collections is all about. I haven't really figured out the collections thing yet. Just being honest. Action. Okay, so depending on what you have selected in here, I think some of this action stuff looks different. Let me click around in here. maybe.
When I was using this last time, the collections were like an internal data set to the app.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what that is.
Just a quick note, because I'm playing around with this while you're playing around with this, and it's definitely in developer and a preview thing. I was using the start from your data section, which I think you've been using, right, Laura?
Right.
And it wasn't working for me, so I submitted feedback, and now I just went to do it again, and now it says coming soon instead of get started.
Oh, that's because you remember when I went to tablet mode, it said coming soon, and when you go back over to phone, the user data, it was there.
For phone, it works.
Yeah.
Got it. Never mind.
Yep. Again, it's kind of rough. They're ironing out, working diligently to get it all kind of. It's really cool. All right. So action is going to be like on select. So this takes me to this on select little drop down basically. And like collect, navigate. Oh, okay. So navigate to, so when they click this plus, navigate to detail screen 1. Yeah. Okay. So you're telling the button where you want it to navigate to, I think. No, I think I just broke it. Yeah. So I'm going to do undo here because I just broke my whole app there. Undo. There we go. I'm not sure what I broke. All right. On select logic flows. So if I want this button to do something based on their logic flows, I can do that. So I can create a new logic flow, and I'm going to try, and again, I'm going to save that. I'm going to do that in a few minutes, but that's how you can make a button be connected to one of these cool logic flows. All right. The View tab is going to have options, quick tools. Options and quick tools are also down here. You can also zoom in and out down here. Advanced. So a lot of you gurus might want to go straight to the advanced, and as you click on different controls in your app, it's got different things in the advanced screen. So like I clicked on detail screen 1, these are the properties of detail screen 1. And if I click on a control in here, it's got, this is, value 4, and it's got different things that happen like on select, etc. And I've got my, this is my screen where people fill out a new one. It's got all kinds of stuff in the on select, that's like the, on click. And then it's got information about the data. So the same thing that you're seeing in the advanced is also going to be all these little options like on select, image, tooltip. All this stuff is available in this drop-down box. See, the things that actually have values in them are gonna be black, and then I can go, if I want to go edit, what the border color is. This is where I'm going to do it. So I'm going to do it using these little RGBA codes. So it tells you when you're doing the functions in here, it tells you what it's expecting in different places. So I have my cursor here. Oh, this is the red value. So 100. And then this is the green value, see? So at least it puts your formulas out here. I'm just making one up. Hey, Ryan, shout out a RGBA code. And then the blue value. You have them all memorized, don't you?
Yeah, of course. How about 200 and 71 and 13?
There we go.
This is going to look hideous, I just know it.
Oh, you mean you don't know what that is off the top of your head? So I think that I did that as the border color of something. I don't know. So anyway, that's where you do your function. So when I click function, the function button here, it's got some things that I can start with, at least some functions that I can start with to to get started and kind of figure out what I want to start typing in here.
You should maybe see if the border is actually on for what you just set the border color for.
Oh, yeah, you're right. So let me go to image over here. Ooh, look at this. So when I have an image selected, just like the ribbon has always been. Oh, Josh says he just got on the wait list for the software and he's stoked. Awesome. And oh, Andy says, hello, by the way, seems like a Microsoft version of Xcode iOS building tool. Oh, interesting. Simple things will be simple. Creating a full app may be very time consuming. That is probably very insightful, Andy. So border. Okay, yeah, so border thickness, it didn't have a border maybe, so I just changed it to 3. And so here's like a UI that takes me to this thing I was just trying to do. That's nice. So I can put like a red border on it. It's still not visible though, anyway. Border, I like the way they have they've started adding more UI stuff though in everywhere in PowerApps to make, again, their goal is to make this so that end users or business users can easily use this. All right, so again, depending on what I select in here, so if you're looking for something you're not finding on it, go ahead and click around and make sure you have something selected that you're trying to do something on that one control that you have selected. One little trick is if you want to have 2 columns of things in your list of all your stuff, you don't want to just have one thing listed at a time. There's this little one called, oh, where did it go? No, it's for the whole list here. Let me select. See, it depends on what I select in here as to what I'm going to have available. Wrap count. I think that was it. Wrap count, by default, wrap count is 1. If I change it to 2, look at that. Oops, what did I just do? Change it to 2. Changed it to 2. There. See, now it's 2 columns of data, and I can have just more stuff listed, but I would need to put a little button next to every single item on the right and the left to be able to go click on that item. So it's just one little thing, kind of little thing buried in there that, again, depending on what you select in here, you're going to have different things in this list. And again, they're also going to be listed on the right. I'm going to go ahead, since we've only got like 18 minutes left. And all we did was really kind of click around and just show you around to get started, get familiarized with this. I'm going to go ahead and show you the logic flows. So let me go ahead and go to Google. Let's see. No, I'm not going to use Chrome. I'm going to use, I guess I'll just do it from in here and then see how, well, the action logic flows. Create a new logic flow. It's going to take me to the browser. That's why, see, I didn't want to use this little crappy browser. I wanted to just, yeah, no, not using you browser. I'm going to use a different browser. I'm going to use the IE that I already have pulled up. So I'm in PowerApps in the browser, and here's logic flows. And I don't have any yet. I'm going to create a new logic flow. And how would you like to start? So remember, there were a whole bunch of example ones that it showed you when I was in PowerApps, a lot of logic flows that you could start from that already existed, but it just gives you some where PowerApps, when a control is selected, what do you want it to do? Do I want to add a condition or an action? I'll go ahead and add an action first, and then it's got like hundreds of stuff in here that you can do. One of the cool things that the capabilities of PowerApps is, even if you don't have SharePoint, even if you don't have like any kind of actual database, like a SQL database or something. Do you guys work at companies where people do all kinds of stuff in Excel? In Excel, they have like almost like a company, like a really important app, and it's just a spreadsheet. Have y'all seen that happen? You can go just work with that. Just work with the fact that your business is doing stuff in Excel, and you can go have people filling out a form in PowerApps that just puts a row in a spreadsheet. Isn't that neat? So again, I can go through a whole bunch of stuff in here. I can go like my Office 365 users, get manager. So user ID, I'm not sure. See, I really should have played with this one more before I started demoing it, but again, let me go delete that one, do another one, add an action. So if I just type SharePoint, I'll just do something fairly simple. So do I want to create a file, create an item, get items, list folder, when a file's created. So it's got a lot of stuff I can do, like familiar with kind of some of the stuff you can do in a SharePoint designer workflow. I'll go create an item, and I need to put my site URL in here, so that's going to be that travel one that I have. Underlaura.sharepoint.com /travel, and then list name. Jack says he's totally psyched about getting to play with this. Yeah, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? Oh, there we go. So I just kind of clicked around a couple of times. It's a little bit rough, but go to travel, and then here are my lists I have. So I have locations. So when I create this list item, what do I want it to have in it? So I can insert data from within PowerApps. I can insert, like, look, the title. So in my Power App, the title field is destination. So that's a location. All right, so when somebody creates a new travel request, I'm just going to say whatever location they have, just put that in this list of locations, you know, just for fun. And then I can say custom link URL. I'm not sure what that is. And done. Oh, give it a name. It's got a naming at the bottom. So new. So I had it based on that button though. So let me give it a better name. I call it button click. So that was the button that I started with when a control is selected. So it's saving it now. So it's got, again, I encourage you to go try with different data sources and try, you know, I'll create one in here maybe that says that it sends a tweet telling it where I'm going on a trip. That's a good idea, right? So it's saving. It's just going to take a second to save. This is Office 365. Corey, did you have anything that you wanted to demo or that you discovered while we're waiting here?
I haven't even been able to connect to data yet.
Oh, okay.
It keeps erroring out on me.
Oh, okay. You're not on the VPN, are you? Add an action. Let me see. Twitter. Post a new tweet. And I can say, ooh, look at that. So I can say title. See, I think this is what it was supposed to look like in that other action. It just didn't. And then I can say created, modified by. There we go. So it's going to give me the title of where I'm going and modified by in a tweet whenever I click whatever button. Now I haven't gone into the Power App itself and pointed the button to this logic flow because the logic flow didn't exist yet. So now that the logic flow exists, I can go back to my Power App, I believe, and oh look, it's immediately there. That's awesome. So I'm going to say when this button is clicked, go back to my logic flows here, and I'm going to pick button clicked. What is this? Oh, and I can go back to edit it from here if I want to. That's nice. Josh says, I missed some earlier on. Is this going to be marked as a potential replacement for some of the outputs of InfoPath? Not sure what you mean by outputs of InfoPath, but this is something that you could potentially do instead of some of the things you might have done with InfoPath. It's definitely not comparing apples to apples, but it's potentially a replacement for some things, but it's not. There's not necessarily any kind of importing an InfoPath form in here yet. I think that maybe there might be. Again, there are a lot of things that maybe might exist. Again, because this is just a rough sort of a just a preview. So this is not. It says when button clicked run. And I have to put parameters in here. So run create item underscore title. don't know why it's telling me to type it. I'm not sure why it didn't type it. See, yeah, so some of this stuff, when you start getting into functions and when you start getting to changing your controls around and like really, you know, tweaking your controls and stuff, I've gotten into a lot of these little exclamation marks that I did something wrong. But again, they're still working on it. So I'm gonna leave that alone for now. And I'm going to go to the whole sharing concept too. So what I've done so far is I created it. Oh, let me try this one little thing. Let me try this little, see if I can make that look like a dollar sign. I'm going to delete this card real quick. Oh, things are popping in and out and disappearing. Okay. I didn't want to have that copy of, and I want my estimated cost maybe to be a every time I've gone in here and changed some of these, I end up just breaking stuff, but it looks like I might have fixed it. I might have just done that correctly and didn't screw it up. Oh, that's the edit screen. I did screw it up. I meant to go to the display screen. Yeah, okay, there we go. Detail screen. Estimated cost. I don't want this status copy. That was like a field that I don't want people having to interact with. Estimated cost. Again, this is where I want to go. And it's kind of buried in here. It's kind of hidden, so you might not notice it at first. And then view U.S. currency. So I'm viewing it. There we go. See, it looks right now. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and save it. It'll take a minute. And then what you do for now is that you share it with people by giving their email address. So you share it with people that you want to be able to fill out this form. And then they have to be able to, it has to be their Office 3, I think it has to be their Office 365 account, because I went ahead and like I just authenticated with my Office 365 account, you know, on my iPad, and immediately when I opened up PowerApps, there were all my apps that I had created on this computer, and I can immediately start filling out forms. So I saved it. Now I'm going to go, maybe I can close it, close, and then let me go to my, see if my iPad. So what you're going to do is you're going to use this little share button over here, and I have to, apparently I have to download it maybe to be able to, yeah, to be able to launch it and use it on my computer. So this is like going from the design experience to the end user experience. I'm downloading it so that it is an app on my computer. And the little red arrow means that something's been updated and I need to download it again, I believe. So now I'm filling it out like an end user. Let's just try it out one more time since I don't think I broke it too bad. All right, it'll take us, there we go. So there are my items. And again, I don't have to start with this screen. This is just the way that the pre-configured one did it. I click the little plus to go fill out a new travel request. And this is really clear on that screen resolution, right? This is like really good resolution. Did I break the button? No, it's, I saw a little spinning wheel there for a second. Yeah, because I remember not being patient earlier today, and or the other day when I was trying it out and messing something up. I might have broken that button when I was playing with it a little while ago. Let me go back and just look at one. So I can click on one to look at it at least, and I can go edit it. I didn't break that button. So I can go, now my estimated cost, I'm going to change it to 80 or something like that, and click the checkbox. So I just edited an existing item and saved it. And now look at that, my little estimated cost. I don't have the currency with 2 decimal places. That looks a little weird, but that's probably one of those functions I can do. All right, and then I can exit out of that. And again, share it. So let me go back to PowerApps in my computer again. And go back to the little sharing screen that I still haven't showed you. It's pretty rough. There's no link directly from like your SharePoint site to this, and there's no link directly from like, you know, a list to go customize this list in PowerApps. But I think that maybe those kind of things are going to be coming gradually. I'm not sure. So here is, oh, good grief. Oh, come on. There. I want to go File, and I want to share it with people. So I can go put people's names in here. Let's see. Corey at Corey, see if you can, when I send this to you, say, let's see, I said, wait, oh, he disappeared. Wait, oh, wait, there he is. There he is. Oh, it prompted me for him because it can see my user directory in Office 365. Cool. I wonder what, I guess that means he can edit like the data itself. I'm not sure yet. So again, this is reminding you that the person has to have access to the data, he has to have access to the travel request site before he'll be able to go interact with the travel request site. So let me go double check that, Corey, before you go try and do that. Go to site settings, and then I'm just going to look in the permissions and give him permissions. So members, I need to add Corey in here. Okay, so you're going to get an email probably about me adding you to that group, and an email about you having permission to this site. So anyway, that's how you share it with somebody. And then also, as long as that you have access to that app, again, you can just go. I'm trying to hold up my iPad again. I forgot I'm not showing my camera. You can just go, download the app in your iPad or on your iPhone or anything, and you're just going to authenticate to SharePoint, Office 365 or whatever your data source is, and just go start filling out your form, and it's going to prompt the user to authenticate. So, Andy says,
I think I even got a notification from PowerApps, actually.
It should have. Yeah, it should have sent you the thing where I said to invite you. Andy says, have you used the delay until feature on this yet?
Yeah, the program itself.
Oh, it did. Cool. He says it was an option in the beginning of the logic flow on-prem. Wait until designer workflows. Seemed like a bad idea due to potential server restarts. Is that a reliable function? Yeah, I have no idea, Andy. I'm not sure. I would just test it out if I were you. So again, PowerApps.com. Corey, make sure you can go fill out and go. Yeah, you should just be able to authenticate since you have permission. Just be able to go fill out one of those travel requests. So the part with it's not going to be a published app. It's not going to show on your website, but for all the people in your tenant, it's going to show as one of the little options. And what is this the tiles, the waffle? It's going to show one of the options in the waffle there. And look, I can just go pin it or unpin it from the app launcher. I'm not sure why that's not working correctly, but just go to it that way and just go have some fun. Try it out. Any last thoughts from you guys?
Did you want to show, if people do get into this, where they can leave feedback for those who are still waiting to get access?
Yeah, it's right. Let me go back to in here, this little smiley face. So that's the send feedback. You say send a smile.
It's actually on every page in the app.
Oh, I'm in the app. I don't know. But yeah, that's what the smiley face is for. I don't see it in the browser necessarily, but I do see it in the app itself. And I don't know what notifications is, but okay. Anne says, unless you're using Windows operating system on your cell phone. Yeah. Oh, maybe I can. Oh, where's my little tablet? I have one of those little miniature Encore tablets. It'd probably work on that thing. Yep. Cool. All right. Well, yeah, go ahead and try it out, everybody, and give Microsoft your constructive feedback. Let me go ahead and stop sharing my screen. There I am. All right. We had 34 live viewers. So again, if you missed some of this, or if you're watching it later, again, you can watch it on our YouTube channel. YouTube, it's SharePoint RAX is our channel, and thanks everybody for watching, and I encourage you to go try it out. If you have questions or comments about PowerApps, probably the best place to go is going to be the little smiley face in PowerApps, because I've had limited amount of time testing this, so I'm probably not going to know the answers to your questions, especially if you get down into functions and formulas. So, and go use the little resource link that Microsoft has on the PowerApps.com website also to go read about it and go see their little tutorials. And again, this is going to be awesome for apps going across all of your different data sources. Thanks everybody for watching.